It was a moment that no one in the room could have anticipated. A moment that would forever change the course of two lives and expose the raw reality of privilege, pain, and the unexpected consequences of our actions. The evening had started like any other in the grand ballroom of the luxury hotel. Laughter, clinking glasses, and the soft rustling of expensive dresses. But one single moment, a single action, would bring it all crashing down. Imagine standing at the edge of a room filled with the wealthiest and most powerful people in the city, your uniform perfectly pressed, your hands trembling slightly as you carry out your duties. Then out of nowhere, a loud rip echoes through the room. You feel a cold breeze against your skin. Your heart stops. The uniform, the one you've worn for months, is torn, ripped apart by someone you least expected. But what happens next is even more shocking. The man who caused this embarrassment is the very son of the man you've been working for. The heir to the fortune, the millionaire's son. As the guests gasp in shock and confusion, you turn around to see the father of the young man, his face a mask of rage and disbelief. But instead of reprimanding his son, he does something no one could have predicted. His response leaves the entire room in stunned silence, and tears begin to well up in your eyes as you realize that this is no ordinary reaction. This is the kind of moment that changes everything. Before we dive deeper into this emotional roller coaster, make sure to like, share, and comment on this video if you believe kindness is the key to a better world. Subscribe to Whispers of Kindness for more heartwarming stories. It was a Saturday evening, the kind where the city buzzes with energy and the streets glow with the promise of something special. The luxury hotel was hosting one of its most exclusive events yet, a charity gala that brought together the crème de la crème of society. The room was filled with the fragrance of expensive perfumes, the shine of glittering jewelry, and the soft hum of polite conversation. At the center of it all stood Ella, a maid who had been working at the hotel for over a year. Ella wasn't just any maid. She had come from a small village, where she had learned the value of hard work, resilience, and sacrifice. She had dreamed of a life filled with opportunities. But the reality had been far different. She was the product of her circumstances, her humble background marking her every step. However, she never complained. Every day she showed up with a smile, working tirelessly to ensure that the guests of the hotel had everything they needed. She had become an invisible part of the backdrop, her presence unnoticed by most. But there was one person who noticed her, the millionaire's son, James. He had never been particularly kind, but he hadn't been cruel either. That evening, he and his father, Robert, were invited as guests of honor at the gala. James, dressed in a tailored tuxedo, stood by his father, arrogantly surveying the room as if he owned it. His eyes met Ella's for the briefest moment, and she quickly looked away, focusing on her duties. As Ella moved around the room, offering drinks and arranging plates, she could feel James's eyes following her. He was always watching, always with a sneer or a smirk on his face. He was known for his playful yet disrespectful behavior, pulling pranks on staff and guests alike. Ella had seen it before, but this time, something about the way he looked at her made her uncomfortable. She couldn't shake the feeling that tonight was going to be different. The evening wore on, and Ella found herself serving drinks to the guests, trying her best to avoid James's gaze. But as she moved past him, her shoulder brushed against his arm. Without warning, James grabbed her arm, a cruel grin spreading across his face. "Careful, Maid," he sneered. "Wouldn't want to ruin that perfect little uniform of yours." Ella felt a rush of heat in her chest, but she swallowed her anger. Knowing that she had to remain professional, she tried to pull away, but James tightened his grip. In a split second, he yanked her uniform, ripping it right down the front. The fabric tore with a sickening sound, exposing her underneath. Ella froze, her face flushing with humiliation. The guests turned to look, their eyes wide with shock. "James!" Robert, his father, shouted. "What the hell is wrong with you?" But instead of feeling guilty or apologetic, James laughed, his voice carrying across the room. "It's just a joke, Dad. Lighten up." Ella stood there frozen in shock as the room fell silent. She could feel the eyes of everyone on her, the embarrassment burning in her chest. She had worked so hard to earn her place here, and yet in a single moment, all of her dignity had been stripped away. The moment seemed to stretch on forever, and just when Ella thought she might collapse from the weight of it all, something unexpected happened. Robert, James's father, stepped forward. But instead of yelling at his son or making excuses, Robert's face darkened with fury. "James, get over here. Now," he barked. James, still smirking, approached his father, his demeanor cocky and unrepentant. But when Robert spoke again, his words were not what anyone had expected. "Do you have any idea what you've just done?" Robert's voice was steady, but there was a fire in it. A fire that made James pause. "You think you can treat people like this? That you can rip someone's dignity apart for your own amusement?" James looked around, his confidence beginning to falter as he saw the guests' disapproving stares. But he still didn't get it. "Dad, it's just a little tear in her uniform. She'll be fine." "No, James," Robert said, his voice quieter now, but with a weight that made everyone listen. "It's not just about the uniform. It's about respect. It's about how you see people, how you treat them. And right now you've shown me exactly how little you care about anyone but yourself." The room was dead silent. For a moment, no one knew what to say. But then Robert turned to Ella, his expression softening. "I am so sorry for my son's behavior. You did not deserve this. Please, let me help you." Ella was stunned. She had expected to be dismissed, to be sent away to fix the damage. But Robert's apology was sincere. The kindness in his eyes took her breath away. She had never known someone with so much power and privilege to be so humble, so genuine. Robert turned back to James, his voice firm. "This behavior stops now. Apologize to her and then get out of my sight. You're not welcome here tonight." James, now visibly uncomfortable, mumbled an apology, but it was clear that he hadn't fully understood the gravity of his actions. He left the room in a huff, but Robert remained behind, his focus entirely on Ella. "Are you okay?" he asked softly. Ella nodded, tears streaming down her face. It wasn't the humiliation that hurt so much. It was the fact that someone with so much, had shown her the kindness she had longed for. She had spent her whole life being invisible, working tirelessly behind the scenes. But in that moment, Robert saw her. Really saw her. "I'm so sorry for what happened," Robert said again, his voice full of regret. "You are a valued member of this team, Ella. Please know that." Ella couldn't speak. She had never expected to hear words like this from someone of Robert's stature. It was the first time she had ever felt truly seen, truly respected. And in that moment, she realized that kindness, no matter how small, could have a ripple effect. It could change everything. As the evening ended, Ella left the hotel with her head held high. She had been offered a new uniform, one that was far more elegant and dignified than the torn one she had been forced to wear. But it wasn't just the uniform that had changed. It was her entire outlook on life. For the first time, she felt like she mattered, like she had a place in this world, no matter her status or background. Robert's actions had left a lasting impact on everyone in the room. The guests, the staff, all of them had witnessed a powerful moment of accountability and change. It was a reminder that no matter how high we rise or how much we have, we must never lose sight of the most important thing, our humanity. If this story resonated with you, please like, share, and comment on this video. Let us know how kindness has impacted your life, or how you think we can make the world a better place. Subscribe to Whispers of Kindness for more stories that touch the heart and inspire change. Together we can create a kinder world, one story at a time.